Alrighty! G'day everybody, it's the Doga! It's time for the next installment of the AC/DC Album Collectors series. Although these are being uploaded out of sequence, they will be in the correct sequence on the playlist. So the next one is the 1978 live album, If You Want Blood, You've Got It. That's best name for this awesome front cover of Angus Young and Bon Scott. This was allegedly taken either before or after the gig at the Paradise Theatre in Boston, Massachusetts, in August of 1978. Got the back cover here, of course. Angus with the fake guitar in him, the fake blood and stuff. Albert Productions, of course. This here's the original 1978 Australian pressing of the album. Let me just kindly bring it out. Oops, let's put that there. And show off the label itself. Don't come across very many of these nowadays. If You Want Blood seems to be one album where copies are very hard to come by for some weird reason. Whereas all the other albums seem to be fairly easy. Don't know why. Anyway, the next copy I have in my collection, I believe this one is a black and yellow reissue from around 1980 and has the same style of label but is now black, as I said, instead of the blue. And side 2, of course. Don't have very many copies of this album on vinyl, actually. Seems to be one where specific pressings or specific label variants are very difficult to come by. And I've picked up the wrong pile. Hang on, I'm not supposed to pick up that pile just yet. Here we go, here's the next one. I believe this one is the 1983 red label. I think the same pressing is still used on this particular one. Red label or orange from your end, maybe. And this is the only album where I don't have the 1987 top half only copyright credits label variant. Mainly because the majority of those ones I managed to get through the box sets. And that one was not included in the Volume 1 box set, of course. So, the next one, this is a New Zealand pressing of the album now. Let me just pull this out. Put the cover there. Label is typical EMI New Zealand label at the time. Red and yellow. As you can see, different fonts, and at the top there, made by EMI New Zealand Limited. I'm thinking this one's a 1980s reissue, as I think the original would have been on black and yellow label. Not been able to find very many New Zealand pressings making their way across the Tasman to Australia. So, unfortunately, I reckon they're even hard to find over there in New Zealand, to be honest. Oh, here's the 2003 version now. I can just coax this out. Put the cover down there and pull it out of its insert. Again, I'm not going to show the inserts because you've probably already seen them yourself if you're a collector of the new records. So I will just show the side 1 and side 2 labels. These 2003 LPs are not in the best condition. Not that it matters because, you know, they're just remastered. I don't really care. Either way, those are the only LP copies I have. Now on to cassettes. I've only got 4 cassettes, unfortunately, and one of them I had to wait until just today, the day of upload, to pick up. Unfortunately, it's not the original 1978 cassette, but I think this one here dates to roughly 1983 or 1984, this one that I'm about to show you. Let's just show the full J card. That was used on the Australian cassettes during this period. Keep it flat there. And of course, doesn't like to stay flat after it's been corrected. But the cassette itself is this particular style. And this particular one I decided to pick up because it's a bit of a rare label variant on cassette. Would still like to find the original. That one and Power Age, I think, are the only ones that I've not got the originals of. Just picked up an original Flick of the Switch, which, again, you will... If you've already watched it, you'll see that I didn't have the original Flick of the Switch at the time of the recording of that one. But I may possibly do an update and show off all the original releases from High Voltage to Razor's Edge, with the 2 exceptions. Either way, here's my mother's copy, which has no tape inside it, but this was the label variant, and as you can see, most of the text on side 1 is worn off. And, of course, side 2, with my mother's name charmingly written on the side 2 label. I think that copy dates to around 1986 at the latest, if not late 85. And the only other one out of the Australian cassettes I have, I think this one probably dates to 1987 or 1988, is this label variant. I believe a few of these did turn up in the cassette version of the Volume 1 box set from 87, but of course, as I said, this one did not come with the box set. Right, those are the 3 Australian cassettes I have of that album. Now, 1994 European cassette remaster, I believe this one is. Let me see. The cassette itself, unfortunately, the text has completely just about worn off. There's side 1 and side 2. As you can see, the text is almost entirely worn right off. And unfortunately, I had some playback issues with it as well. It kept muffling and distorting. Should have cleaned the heads properly when I played it, but it's not the best condition, this particular cassette, and didn't sound all that good to me. All in all, it's a bit hard to find those particular cassettes. I've not yet really seen any other copies of this album on cassette that I don't already own or don't really want. So I'm still looking for the original Australian one. But I have a relatively decent haul of CD copies. I have at least 6 CDs here. If you're a regular viewer to the channel, you may have seen a couple of these already. But for the first time are some of these that I have not shown off yet. Let's start with the original Australian CD made by EMI Japan in 1987. Album code's on the back here, CDP 7466722. And of course a typo there, it should say Whole Lot of Rosie. Oops, the disc wants to come off the tray. Anyway, inside the little thing on the front is the picture of Angus from the back cover of the original LP. Let's just gently put that back in again, and here is the disc itself. As I said, you may have already seen this one in a prior video. Definitely a very clean sounding disc, that one. Although some of the crowd at the very end of the side 1 transition to side 2 has been chopped out for some reason. Okay, the first of the locally done CDs from 1989 now. This one has the different album code on the back, 4652552 from the CBS Distronic series. This one still retains the typo that was originally present on the original release, but later on in production it was corrected and does say Whole Lot of Rosie. However, this one here, from what I can tell, is from very early on in production, before somebody noticed the mistake. I have not seen this particular version with the mistake before until I got my copy. Here's the CD. This one, to me, has got a bit of a wider stereo separation between the guitars, and actually still has the fade out and fade back in between the 2 sides, most likely because that mastering was also used for the LP and cassette, unfortunately, of which I do not own. Right, the next one is the 1995 Australian EMI remastered copy of the album. That was done by the late George Marino. It's sterling sound, of course, in 1994 for the American and European market. Is the back cover, which is virtually identical. Different album code used here is 4770872. Here's the lyrics, and again, the same image from the back cover of the original LP. As you can see, the lyrics actually change colour because of the white from Angus's shirt and stuff. And you've got the lyrics there as well. And you've got the back cover image again here. Okay, so, and the disc itself, which I'm sure you would have already seen, again, if you're a regular viewer. If not, this is your first look at it. As you can see, the translucence is there. Okay, that is that version. Now, this one, I'm not 100% certain, but it could possibly be a 1994 remaster from either the US or Europe. I have no clue when this one came out. This disc here doesn't seem to be any conclusive info, or this one hasn't really been detailed on Discogs. I think this also has the lyrics. No, this one does not have the lyrics. It's just a simple fold out. Hang on, it's stuck. Yeah, this one just has this on the inside. So I'm not 100% certain when this one first came out. I'd say it's probably one of the generic releases from that period. And again, it's got a fairly generic, or an actual proper reproduction of the back cover. Okay, this next one I think is a UK version, which has an identical back cover to the Australian one. But you'll notice that the barcode and the album code is completely different. And there's no mention of EMI Australia, although the artwork itself is pretty much identical to the Australian 1995 remaster. As you can see, this one has Made in Europe and a different album code on there. And also here as well. And I believe the lyrics are also present, pretty much exactly the same as the Australian one. This one's pretty much identical in sound quality because I think it just uses the same remastered files. Okay, the last one in my collection is the 2003 Remastered CD. This one's unfortunately in pretty average quality because I got this when I was still in high school at the time. Wasn't the best looking after stuff like I am now. And of course, you've got the pictures from inside the thing there. And the disc itself. And excellent picture of Angus and Bon on the back of the booklet. Right, those are all the copies I have of this excellent live album from 1978, which is 44 years ago at the time of recording. Thank you very much for watching the video. Be sure to like and comment down below if you enjoy this album, and say it's your favourite live album of all time. Be sure to let me know. And if you're new to the channel, if you want, you can subscribe to stay in touch. We will be doing the rest of the AC/DC albums now. I only delayed this one due to the fact that I was left waiting a bit longer for the cassette. But either way, until next time, this is the Doga saying have an excellent weekend wherever you are. Stay safe in the world. As Ellen DeGeneres says, be kind to one another. And we shall see you again.